Good Mom and Monday. You're here at the Mistake Mama podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Mandee.
And we are your hosts. This week, we're going to be talking about activities that you can do when you can't go outside, specifically when your children are being insane, and outside might sound like a good idea. This could include hot weather, rain, too much snow, whatever reason
Super
you can't
cold.
go outside. Hurricane.
Right. Blizzard.
And so we'll be getting into that in just a moment, but let's do our wins, fails, books.
Okay.
You have anything for me?
I guess my win is I'm content and ready to say that Maverick is potty trained.
Yes.
Minus nighttime.
Yeah.
Here and
that takes
there.
a while.
He mostly wakes up dry, but every once in a while he's wet. But he's even woken up in the middle of the night and been like, I have to pee.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say he's potty trained.
Yay. Oh, that's
Finally.
so fantastic.
It's so nice. And we were at, I guess this could also be part of my win. We were at a family barbecue yesterday for Michael's family.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really even think about, like, I need to ask him more and more because we're in a different place than he's used to and everything. And he would just come up to me and be like, I have to pee, I have to poop. Like,
Nice.
I'm like, this is nice. This is what it is.
It is so much better once they're potty trained.
So much.
I remember being so happy when Anna was finally potty trained.
Mm-hmm.
And because she was potty trained before I had Damon.
Yeah.
So I had a very short amount of time where I had nobody in diapers.
Yeah.
It wasn't very long lasting.
Then Damon showed up.
Yeah, it was just a few weeks. Or I guess technically she wasn't nighttime trained yet, so I did technically have
The one diaper. in the
one
morning.
diaper a day.
Yeah.
But that was so much better
That's
than
so different though.
changing a diaper every 2 hours.
Yeah. Michael was like, he can stay in a night diaper as long as he wants.
Yep.
He's like, until it's weird.
Exactly. Yeah, and I the nighttime diapers, I noticed that lasts 2 weeks to a month longer, at least in my one singular child experience.
Right. Yeah.
Who is a
Yeah.
different gender than yours.
Yeah.
So
For the most
anecdotal
part,
at best.
yeah. For the most part, he wakes up dry. It's just every once in a while he'll wake up wet. But even like going out in public, like he has, knock on frickin' wood, but he has not had a accident like in the car, driving anywhere. We've had to pull over a couple times. And I'm like, honestly, thank goodness you're a boy because it's really easy. Except when they're a little boy, they don't understand the art of, okay, then you dribble and it goes down your pants.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get him to like do the hips forward. And he just doesn't get it.
That is so funny.
Yeah. But it's so nice.
I bet. I can't wait for Damon. He has regressed and he doesn't want to use the toilet. Although the other day he sat on it just for shits and giggles. But there were no shits. Just giggles.
Just giggles.
Just giggles. So he's at least getting to that, like, I'm curious.
Interested. That's how Maverick was for a long time. Literally since we started this podcast.
My goal is by the end of the year.
That would be great.
Because then he would be 3.5. So,
Right.
you know, I don't want to be diapering him for forever.
Yeah.
Do you have a fail? Or do you want me to give you my win?
Give me your win because I have to think of my fail.
Okay. My win, or I guess it's technically my kids' win, I can't really take credit for it, is Ellie is walking very consistently now.
Yay.
Yes. She still falls,
Of course.
you know, but she can, like, turn around now.
Aww.
And she can go from, like, if she falls, she just gets right back up and stands. And she can kind of, like, skirt around things now.
Aww.
But yeah, her balance isn't great.
Right.
And she does still, like, fall over. But yeah, she can walk, like, all the way across the room now without falling.
Nice.
At least most of the time.
That's exciting. I remember you sent me the video of her taking a few steps.
Yeah, but now it's, like, all over the place.
I swear, once they figure out that they can take steps, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
That's so nice. I can do that. Sometimes she'll, like, be walking and then she'll give up and then just fast crawl.
Yeah.
She'll be like, okay, I really want to get to this place, but it is too slow.
Right. That's so exciting. Look at our kids doing things.
I know. I'm getting so big. I swear. I just had her and she's already walking.
I know.
It makes me sad, but, like, happy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I get that.
I can give you my fail. I mean, you already know my fail. They don't know my fail.
I think I have a fail.
Okay.
My fail is that we are recording on a Sunday.
Yeah.
We post on Mondays.
To be fair, this is not the episode that is going up tomorrow.
No. But the episode that is going up tomorrow is not edited on my part.
Not mine either.
Okay. So that's my fail. That's what I have to do today.
Same.
Joy.
I guess so.
Procrastinators at our finest hour.
Yeah, exactly. That could be my fail. But instead, I want to give you my real one. My husband. My husband yesterday. On a really hot day, like fucking 90-something degrees yesterday.
Almost
or whatever
100.
it was. It was crazy. And I mean, today and tomorrow is supposed to be even hotter. It's supposed to be like 106 tomorrow.
Yeah. Yuck.
Anyways, yesterday was pretty hot. He forgot to eat breakfast. And he forgot to eat lunch. We went to Costco. We went and did some stuff. He got home around, well, we got home. Not he got home. We got home around like 1:30, 2 o'clock or whatever. And he pours himself a drink. Like 3/4 whiskey, 1/4 soda.
Little splash.
Just a little splash, kind of. Yeah. And, you know, it's the size of like a normal like whiskey glass. One of those shorter ones. And he drinks it. It's fine. Doesn't normally cause a problem. But remember, it's hot and he hasn't eaten anything. He's also only had a soda so far that day. He then pours himself another one. And around 3 o'clock, we were like cutting up some, because we had got one of those like giant, I don't know what they're called, but like the giant things at Costco of beef that you can kind of cut up and section it yourself. They're huge pieces of meat.
Yes.
There's like a roast. You can get steaks out of it. Whatever. We had a thin piece that we didn't really know what to do with. So we just cooked it right there and we ate ate it.
Right.
He only had like 2-3 pieces of that and was drinking this other thing. And then I was like, we like sat down and started watching Venom, and he got so nauseous, ran to the back, ended up puking his guts out. Ended up coming back out a few minutes later and was like, I don't feel good. I'm like, you good? He's like, no. And ends up running back, pukes again, and then falls asleep in the bathroom. And I'm like, okay. I brought him back some crackers and some water. I was like, are you good? And he's like barely able to stay awake, and he just feels like shit. I'm like, do you want me to cook dinner? Like, I feel like you should eat something.
Right.
And so I made steak, corn, sauteed mushrooms, asparagus, and fried potatoes for dinner.
Sounds good.
It was delicious. He didn't get to eat it.
I was going to say, did he eat it?
No, because he was in the bathroom puking and sleeping for like 3.5 hours.
Oh my God.
And then so I ate dinner, and I was just like, okay, he'll come out when he's ready. And then I called my mom, and I was like, hey Mom, he might have alcohol poisoning. What do I do? Because my mom was in her 20s once. Yeah. And so she's seen a thing or two.
Right.
And she's like, well, is he alive? I'm like, well, I don't know. I haven't checked on him in half an hour. So she's like, go check on your husband. By the time I went back there to check on him, he was like standing, and he just looked like absolute shit. He ended up just going to bed.
Oh, poor guy.
He's fine this morning.
I mean, he did it to himself, but poor guy.
He completely did it to himself. Yeah. I was really pissed off about it yesterday. I was texting you, and I was like, I'm so irritated.
He was probably already started off dehydrated and then just really dehydrated himself.
Very much.
That's probably what happened.
Yeah. And my mom DoorDashed us some Gatorade and some saltines because we didn't have any.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, I don't think you should go to the store and leave him in charge of the 3 kids.
Yeah.
So let us DoorDash them. So she did. I was really thankful.
Good times.
Yep.
Been there. Usually it's not during the day that I've been there. It's usually the evening that I've been there.
Yeah. And I mean, when he makes those drinks, it's like 2 to 3 shots worth of alcohol of just straight whiskey.
Yeah.
And so, normally he'd be fine.
Well, and normally I feel like, you sip on it for a couple hours or at least an hour.
Yeah.
You don't just glug, 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 glug.
Drink it like that. So yeah, he definitely did it to himself. But yeah, he was like, that was such a bad idea.
Oh,
I'm like, yeah, I know.
And
You're stupid.
to stop you.
He apologized about it this morning. He's like, I'm so sorry about yesterday. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, I was mad yesterday. I'm not mad anymore.
Right. I feel like as long as it's not
like,
it's not happening every day.
Oh yeah, no, this
It's
was
not
like,
happening every weekend.
literally has never happened
Exactly.
before.
Yeah, I've never had you tell me this. So it's like,
Nope.
I was kind of like, it'll pass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
In the moment,
I
I was
know
so
that
frustrated.
anger. I know that anger.
So I was like, I'm watching the kids, but you're home, so you're supposed to be helping, and I'm making this big old dinner that we agreed that we wanted, that it sounded good.
Right. Now you're not even enjoying it.
And so I put it in a thing for him, so we'll see if he ends up eating it later. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how all of that's going to be just reheated steak.
It's not going to be as good as yesterday.
Not going to be as good as yesterday.
That's your consequence
But
there,
he did it to
Thomas.
himself.
And the puking and the not feeling great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he's better now, so
Good.
that's good. But that was
Good,
the
good.
fail yesterday.
That's a fail.
A win yesterday, though, is that we did so much shopping. We got like a month's worth of stuff at Costco.
Oh, that's what we do. We go to Costco at the beginning of the month, get the stuff for the whole month. Sometimes we have to go back for like bread or something that we eat a lot and go through. But it's so nice to just have groceries.
Yeah.
For the whole month. Costco is so nice for that.
Yes. I think that we're going to try to do this every single month. Like get the beef, get the pork, get the chicken, salmon, whatever else that we want. Portion it out at home. Mm-hmm. And then just trickling throughout the month. Like, we need these couple of little things. We need more milk. We need more eggs.
I didn't realize how much meat costs until we stopped buying it. And I was like, wow, we have all this extra.
It is so expensive.
So expensive. Costco, though, is the way to go.
We got $67 worth of that stuff. The whole thing cost $67. We got a whole roast. We got at least 4 steak meals. So once a week if we wanted to do that.
Right.
And some like one thing of beef strips that we did, and then we also got fat for some tallow.
Yeah.
That we're gonna make. So about a month's worth. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. For $67. Beautiful. I mean, still very much expensive, but when getting 2 steaks at Safeway is almost $50, I would argue this is pretty cheap.
Way better. Yeah, definitely.
Very much so.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Any change on the book front?
As far as reading?
Yeah.
No?
I'm almost done with the second Crescent City book.
Hey.
I'm like 80-something%.
I'm getting further. I'm just having such a trouble finding the time, the motivation, the energy to read right now.
I get that.
Ugh.
I get that.
Just like fall asleep.
I totally understand
It's good though.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
Even though it's third person?
Even though it's third person.
Yeah.
I don't love that it's third person.
I know.
But I like the way she wrote it. For reference, I'm talking about A Court of Silver Flames is the final book. Well, it's the current final book of the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, though I think she's adding more.
She is.
Yeah, it's third person, but I am enjoying it because I like you said, you can tell who's thinking.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't know how to describe that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Definitely.
You can definitely tell. In the one I'm reading right now, it's third person, and it's like that, but there's so many characters that sometimes you're like, wait, what?
Oh.
Because it bounces quicker than that one does.
That makes sense.
So, okay.
So now, activities. And I mean, we've kind of done an activities with kids in the past. Not even kind of. We did. But I'm pretty sure that was like going out and stuff. So this is going to kind of be the opposite. Like staying home. You can't go outside realistically. What do you do, especially when your kids are insane?
Right. Kaylee and I were texting the other day because both of our sets of children were just going wackadoodle.
Seriously. I don't even remember what, just like they woke up and then they were just immediately fighting.
Yep.
And just going crazy, being loud. And I'm like, oh my God. Because usually mornings for us are really chill and quiet.
Same.
They don't get crazy until, at least midday. But not that day. That day it was just like, have you ever seen that one TikTok where it's always like making fun of a toddler and it's like, what did it go? You know what I'm talking about? If I can find it.
Back up! I'm crazy! I've been tripping! Ow! What the?
But That's literally what it felt like. And it does. It feels like that sometimes where they just go insane.
And you are begging to go outside because you just want to let them run across a field and then pass out.
Mm-hmm. And like, thankfully in the mornings, it's not so hot, though right now it is, let me tell you.
It's getting there.
It is already almost 80 degrees.
Yeah. And
it is 11 o'clock.
Yeah, this is 11.
Yeah, and it is supposed to be 101 today, according to my current thing here, though that could, I don't know what source it's using.
Right. I know temperatures from Sunday through, what, Tuesday?
I think Tuesday.
I think it's up to 108.
Which it doesn't help that we have fires all over the place right now.
I know.
There's one that's not far from us. I'm obviously not going to give the name of it or anything because, locations are private.
Right.
We're
safe.
We're safe. Oh, yeah. But a town near us.
But it is close by.
Didn't they have to get their power shut off for like a couple of days?
I think
or they're about to do it.
Yeah.
It's fucking 100 and some odd degrees right now. I feel so bad for them. But it is so, so hot. And like, I know that that's obviously causing like a really big problem everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I don't like it. And then the kids get hot and they're just sitting in front of the AC. Thankfully, my AC is pretty strong.
It is, yeah.
And so like, it's cold in my house right now.
Our house doesn't hit like hot until about 4 or 5 o'clock when the sun comes over and it comes through our kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
But man, when it hits, it's hot until like 9 o'clock.
That sucks.
So the evenings are always the worst, and that's which is awful when you have kids because bedtimes
and stuff,
and
they're
so
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I remember. So right now we live in an apartment, and thankfully we live in one of like kind of a middle apartment, and we're bottom floor,
right?
So the heat rises away from us.
Yeah.
And the sun doesn't hit hardly anywhere directly on any of our walls aside from a very short period of time.
Yeah.
Which is so nice. But I remember growing up, because we lived in a house growing up, my room was always the hottest because of where my room was located. It would catch the sun during the hottest part of the day.
Yep.
And my room was just atrociously hot during the
that's
summer.
how our kitchen is. I think that's one reason I've discussed I don't like making dinner. But that's another hard thing about dinner is when it's summertime, the hottest part of the day is right when I need to cook.
Yeah.
So we've been doing a lot of barbecuing, crock pot.
Nice.
Like cold stuff.
Cold stuff. Yeah.
But yeah.
Literally the other day I had cereal for dinner because I was just too hot.
I don't blame you. I think we had fruit the other night.
Yeah. Do anything to keep yourself cool.
Yeah. Seriously. And the other thing is you don't want to just, I mean, some days it's fine to sit and like watch movies and like just be cool, calm, but either sometimes the kids don't want to do that or sometimes you get tired of doing that. And it's not sustainable for if you have, 3-4 days of hot in a row.
No, it's really not. And it's like, and when kids are anxious, like to get all of their energy out and stuff, it's like, what do you do?
Right.
In a small house, especially if you have multiple kids.
Right.
Letting them get their energy out without causing a ruckus and, putting them in any kind of danger.
Yeah. And it inevitably causes a ruckus.
It does. And I mean, I will say it's nice because we do have kind of some gymnastic equipment. Like we have the little trampoline. Like I know you guys have that too.
Yeah.
And all three of my kiddos enjoy that. We have the gymnastic bar that thankfully stores so small.
Right, because it folds, right?
It folds really small. Or I guess I wouldn't say small, flat. It folds flat.
Right.
And that's really nice because that gets a lot of their energy out.
Right.
And then, I mean, as far as like getting the out energy goes, they can just walk in circles.
Who can
walk
what
in
else
circles
do
the
you
longest?
I know. Did you ever get your the ball pit for Ellie?
Yes.
Does she love it?
She didn't at first.
Oh, okay.
But now she will crawl into it and like splash,
Oh, okay.
I guess
Yeah.
you can say.
Yeah.
And she thinks it's really funny. She'll like hide in there, and then the kids
Aw.
will find her, and then she'll crawl out, and then she'll run around, and then she'll crawl back in and hide
Cute.
again. It's really cute.
Cute.
My 2 older kids love it. Damon likes to throw the balls out,
Of course he does.
which I'm very glad with the colors that I got.
It's not chaotic.
They are very calm colors.
Right.
Very calm. Like
Yeah.
a sage green, a dark blue, white,
Mm-hmm.
clear,
Easy going.
light pink, light gold.
That's not bad at all.
It is non-hectic.
It's not the bright green, bright blue, bright yellow, bright red.
I might lose my shit.
Yeah, I would. I would for sure.
Yeah. Wouldn't be able to do it.
Quincy loves the water. So I haven't updated you or the podcast, but our night routine is now a night routine. Since that episode, like a day or two after, I was like, we got to figure this shit out.
I'm intrigued. I didn't know about this.
So now every night at 8:30, Maverick gets in the bath.
Okay.
And then right after bath time, jammies, teeth, whatever, that nonsense, read a book. And then I go lay down with him. It's in our bed, so it's not his bed yet, but it's in our bed and he's in the sidecar bed.
It's a start.
And it was a struggle there for a little bit, but now he falls asleep. So he's usually asleep between 9:15, 9:40, which that's an improvement.
That is a big improvement.
Big improvement.
I'm impressed.
And now the new thing is I don't like to give my babies a bath every day because I just think it dries out their skin.
Yes.
Remind
me to update you on Ellie.
Okay.
Skin.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. But Quincy loves the water. Mm-hmm. So now every night she gets in the bath with him.
Mm-hmm. We just don't wash her.
We just don't wash her. Yeah. But I have never seen a baby love water as much as she loves water. You can pour water over her head. She can accidentally like slip and get water in her face. And she's just like, okay, cool.
Impressive.
Loves
She also
water.
goes in the pool a lot.
Yeah.
Bath time.
So that's one
a
thing.
good one for when it's very hot.
So I figure if we can't make it out to my mom's, because at 105, I don't want to be outside with the kids. That's a little too hot, even if you're in the pool, I think. So I was like, well, we could just throw the kids in the bathtub, make it kind of like pool temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yep.
One thing I found too is like during rainstorms, for example. So definitely don't want to be going outside. Not really outside weather. And I'm not talking about like light rain where you can let your kid go out and whatever. I'm talking like it's windy, it's rainy, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I've noticed kids are calmer those days.
Same. I'm calmer those days.
Me too.
Those are Michael and I's favorite days.
I like to open the blinds and just let in the outside chaos.
Oh yeah. Sometimes we open the window as long as the wind isn't blowing
windy.
it in. And we'll just listen to it.
It smells
Let
good.
it get cold. Oh, it smells so good. It smells so good.
I love opening the window when it's raining.
Me too.
It's one of my favorites.
Literally, Michael and I will be sitting on the couch like late at night, and this is obviously when it's rainy season, and we'll hear like a couple drips, and we're like, it's raining. And we'll go open up all the windows, and we'll just like sit there in silence with the rain.
So nice.
It's so nice. I honestly can't wait for fall.
Yes, fall's my favorite time to be able to have like the windows
And the
open and
beginning of
stuff.
winter is good for me.
Same. I also prefer to have my house really cold
Same.
and then bundle up,
Same.
which is what we're doing right now because like 68 degrees is
Yeah.
not cold, but it is cold when outside is 105.
Yes. Yeah.
And so 68 degrees, I'll be like, got fuzzy socks on,
Yeah.
a sweater.
Yeah.
And I'm just like bundled up under a blanket. And Thomas looks at me and he's like, do we need to turn the AC up so that, you know, because it's an AC heater. So up would be turning the heat on essentially.
Right.
I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah, no. I'll just pile another blanket on.
Like
if
I'll
I
just
get
be
colder.
freezing cold.
Yeah.
Plus right now with it being a crazy heat wave, we are keeping it at 68 to hopefully regulate the temperature inside.
Right.
Especially because the AC is like in our living room. And you have to go a ways back to the bedroom. So the bedrooms
Right.
don't get hit with that very much unless
Right.
we put like a fan somewhere in the hallway to help blow the air back. And so it's nice at night when it gets into like 60s to be able to open up the windows.
Yeah. So we open up the windows at night, but in our bedroom we leave the AC on and we just close the door. And so it becomes an ice box in there. And that's the best sleep.
That's nice.
The best sleep, except the kids sometimes wake up and they're like, Maverick wakes up
freezing.
usually and he's like, Mama's blanket. And I'm like, come on, buddy.
Ellie, no matter how fucking cold it is in my house, kicks blankets off. So when she falls asleep, I have to put the blanket back over her or else she's an ice cube.
Yep. That's Quincy.
But then she'll wake up and she'll start crying, kicking violently to get the blanket off. I'm like, girlfriend, if I hadn't put that on you, you would have froze.
Yep. Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, it's so nice when the house is cold, though.
Mm-hmm. What about when it's like super snowy? And I'm talking like, I mean, you can always go outside in the snow, but you don't always want to, and you can't go out there for very long.
Right.
So what is like your favorite thing to do to like be cozy and warm inside?
My favorite thing is to just start baking.
Hey.
Baking. That's when I like to cook, is in the winter. Probably because it's cold. So it
And you're
feels
not dealing
good to
with
cook.
an oven in
Right.
the summer.
Yeah. So I'll like bake cookies with Maverick sometimes, or banana bread, or, you know, stuff like that. And then I like movies. I will say I like movies when it's cold, like cold. Light a couple candles, put on like a Harry Potter-thon. That's our jam.
There
in
you
this
go.
house.
Oh yeah, I love watching marathons in the colder months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either.
Maybe it's because there's less motivation to go outside.
Maybe.
Something like that.
don't
I
know.
also prefer
So nice.
really, really soft light in the warm, in the cooler months, and then more natural light in the warmer months. So,
Yeah.
like I'll open up the windows and be like, "Let there be light."
Right. Because that's the thing in the winter, when it's like actually cold, like snowy or icy or just plain cold,
It's dark.
we tend to keep, well, it's dark, yeah, and we tend to keep the curtains closed because a lot of the heat will escape. So then it will
True.
get very, very cold in the house, and then we have to keep cranking the heat, and then the power bill goes up, and you know,
Not to
that
mention
song and
too,
dance.
not to mention too that snow is very reflective, and you could look outside and you're all of a sudden blind.
Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, it doesn't snow here bad at all. I think usually we get like one good powdery snow, a couple inches, but nothing ever crazy.
Back when I lived in Montana, we had snow for like
The whole winter.
some of spring, some of fall. Literally, like
Yeah.
almost half the year was snow, and the other half was scorching.
Yeah.
They had snow in June once when Thomas was growing up, or was it July? I don't remember. It was like a stupid time of year, and it was
Yeah.
like a weird fluke. I honestly can't remember, so don't quote me on that. But I remember Thomas was telling me about it, and even his mom, who was an adult at the time, and she was like, it was weird.
Weird.
But you couldn't have your windows open because not only would there be snow, but there would also be sun, but it wouldn't be melting. And so just direct
Just
sunlight
reflecting off.
onto the snow directly into your eyeballs.
Yeah.
And it is like fluorescent white.
No fun. No fun. I also like to crochet in the winter.
Yes. Crochet. I'm learning how to knit.
Oh,
It's easier than I thought it was going to be.
really?
A lot
It
easier.
it never makes sense to me. I think I tried one time and I was like, this is stupid.
It is a
gonna go
lot
back to my
easier
hook.
than I thought. Yeah. I've noticed that, I mean, granted, I've been crocheting for years and I've only recently started to knit, but I've learned that crocheting is definitely faster.
Yeah.
Maybe, again, it's because I've been doing it longer.
Right.
But you can also, like, double and triple crochet stitch, and then it's, like, this tall.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, but when you knit, it's, like, one.
Right.
Unless there's anything I haven't learned yet, but it's, like, one
I
stitch
mean,
at
I've
a
seen
time.
people go like crazy fast with the knitting, so maybe over time.
Yeah. It's definitely nowhere near what I thought it was. Because, I mean, granted, I was like, when I was little and I first learned what knitting was, I literally thought you just kind of went, wah, 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 and then
Same.
you knitted. But no, it's like catch, around, and then catch, and then loop.
Okay.
I'll have to
You
show
have to show me.
Yeah. I've been working on, I'm starting with like a Barbie blanket for Anna. Because it's small, and then I can
Right.
work on like whatever. But yeah. I've noticed that there isn't, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just getting lucky. There isn't as much of an issue with tension
Oh.
with knitting somehow, because I have a really big problem with tension with crochet, where I'll have some areas where it is just tight, and other spots it's
Loose.
loosey goosey. This one I'm not being super consistent because I'm still trying to figure out my grasp, and it's all pretty consistent.
Oh.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm just getting lucky
Or if you're better at knitting.
for our camera cut off, so I'm not 100% sure where I was.
anyways, knitting, crocheting, that's good to do in the winter times. I have a hard time doing it in summer because I tend to like to make blankets. And then so you have this hot knit or crocheted blanket on top of you at all times. And you're just like, ugh.
It's super hot and muggy. And you're just like,
Yep.
I don't want this.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you're watching the video, you'll notice we have blankets on top of us.
Not made by us.
Not made by us. But it's not super hot in here right now.
No, it's not.
So we're okay sitting here. As far as like kids go and like their activities, I definitely try to mix it up because like, you know, being a stay-at-home mom, they are home in and inside a lot. And so on the days where it is possible to go outside, I definitely try to go outside. Like going on walks. If we end up going to the pool later with you guys, going to the park, things like that on the days where it does, or it is nicer and it isn't a million degrees or raining or whatever. So that on the days where we have to be kind of locked inside, it's not the end of the world. And then we can kind of explore different activities, doing puzzles, watching movies, you know, making up a game, doing a big, you know, train track thing all around the house. You know, things like that.
Yeah. One thing Maverick just got into is Play-Doh.
Oh, okay.
Which is great, except Quincy can't be around it because she'll just eat it. So he has to usually do it like in the kitchen without her, or when she's taking a nap. That's another good time that he can do it. But he'll play with it for like an hour.
Nice.
And I don't think it's really getting a lot of energy out, but it occupies his mind. So
exactly, which can sometimes do just as much in a sense.
Yeah.
One thing that I like to do, so I try to walk throughout. My goal every day is like 10,000 steps. And so and we have kind of an area where my kitchen is partially open to my living room. There's kind of like an island. It's not an island. I don't know how to explain it. Because it isn't, because it's technically connected to a wall, but then the wall has a cutout. It's whatever. I can go around in a circle through my kitchen, and then through my dining room, and then into my living room, and then back into the entryway, and then back into the kitchen. And there's no steps or anything, like no stairs. So I can literally just walk in a circle, and sometimes I'll fast walk, and the kids will chase me.
Oh, nice. That's a good idea.
And then I'll put like Ellie on my back or something.
Yeah.
And Ellie's cracking the fuck up as I'm like walking, because I'll try to like walk silly to make her laugh. And,
Right. Yeah.
And we can do that for like an hour.
Yeah.
Gets energy out so quickly.
Yeah,
and then I get my steps.
Yeah. Ooh, another thing, putting on music and just having like dance parties.
Yes.
Maverick loves that. And his new thing too, this isn't dancing, but his new thing, so he loves Spidey and His Amazing Friends. Same with Damon.
Yes, Damon loves that too. Very much.
So we play Spider-Man around the house. We shoot our webs, and then he likes to be Sandman and shoot sand at us, and then we trap him with our webs, and then he traps us with his, and so we have a lot of fun with that. And so we'll run around the house doing that.
Damon won't do that. He'll just jump and then get into like that Spider-Man pose.
See, Maverick doesn't get into the Spider-Man pose. He just shoots web, shoot.
So Damon's got the superhero pose stance.
Yes.
And then Maverick's got the action.
Yes. And it's so funny because I didn't really ever think about how kids just can't move their hands as easy as like we can. And so we've been trying to teach him how to do the Spidey thing. And he really couldn't do it at first. And now he can get these two fingers up really well. And then he'll hold his pinky up with his other hand. And he can do it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, yeah, that's a current game that we've been playing in this house. Spidey and His Amazing Friends.
That's fantastic.
Coloring.
Yes, that's a big one.
Coloring's another good activity.
Love to color.
I will say, we got this coloring pack from Walmart. There's a whole bunch of them at Walmart, a bunch of different characters, and they come with like 4 crayons, but they're crayons in like this plastic thing. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of nice. You know, more to hold on to. You can't break it as easy. They are the most emollient crayons.
Emollient, okay.
Like, I'm trying to think of what they're comparable to. You barely touch them and it like full-blown color.
Oh.
Too much. It's excessive. Don't get them.
Okay. Noted. We use color pencils or like just the normal Crayola crayon packs or the Color Wonder.
Yeah, the Color Wonder we do a lot because that's just, you don't really, I mean, you watch your kids, but you don't really have to watch them close because if they draw on the table, it's whatever.
Can't even tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, Damon has drawn on my table with crayon Thankfully, we have only washable, so it comes off really easily with a baby wipe.
Right.
But I had to spend like 30 minutes one day getting all the crayons off of the places that he's put it.
Mm-hmm. These crayons for the packs that we got at Walmart, they come off fairly easy, but the black kind of stains, and you have to like really scrub at it to get it off.
No.
It'll come off, but you have to really scrub.
Oh, man.
And you can easily draw like on your face. That's how emollient it is. But it's a crayon. Don't get them.
Is
Whatever
it
you do.
Crayola? Or is it there's got to be a different brand.
I think it's a different brand. They were like $5 packs, and it was a Spidey one, so we got it.
Do you still have them?
Yes, I'll show you when we're done.
Okay.
They're
I'm
awful.
like, I want to know so bad.
Awful.
So curious.
Yeah.
Weird.
Because at first I was going to be like, hey, Damon likes Spider-Man. They got these $5 Spider-Man coloring books with crayons.
No.
Don't get them.
Okay.
Yep. But the Color Wonder.
I love those.
Beautiful.
We got one of them giant packs of the different colors.
Mm-hmm.
Because the little things only come with like 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got one. So now they have like every color they can think of.
Yeah. We just have the one pack right now because Michael threw away the other one.
Michael.
He was like, well, he was done with it. There was no more colors in there. I'm like, but the markers were in there. And he's like, oh, well, sorry. I'm like, I was collecting all the colors from the different packs.
Yep, that's what we did too. Because my mom tends to get them for the kids relatively often.
And I like it because then he can do that around Quincy. And if she picks up the marker, it's like, whatever.
Yep, whatever. What's it going to do?
Yeah.
What's she going to do? Draw on herself with clear?
Yeah.
Because it's clear.
It's clear, yeah. Unless it's on the paper, so.
Which I've always been interested to figure out how exactly that works. Because
know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Someone tried to explain it to me once. I had something like pH or whatever. I'm like,
Oh.
I have no idea.
Because at first I thought, oh, well, it's revealing the color on the page. But then I was like, but then how do you have different colors? And then I was like, oh, no. It's not about what's on the page. It's about what's in the marker. But how's what's in the marker making the color on the page? Yeah.
Yeah, it supposedly has something with pH or some odd something. I have no idea.
Yeah,
but
because
that's
it only
what I was
works
told.
on those papers.
Yep. Doesn't work anywhere else.
So it's some chemical reaction between the pen and the paper.
Yep.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% certain either. Like I said, it was kind of explained to me, but I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Something with pH or something.
Fair enough.
One thing that I will say that I don't like about days where we can't go outside and that they are just like itching for, to get their energy out is that like sometimes they'll try to adopt ways to do outside activities inside, like throwing a ball. Mm-hmm. And then you either have to let them and just hope and pray they don't break something or squash the idea, and then you feel like an asshole.
I know. For Maverick, it's not perfect. But we try to say he can only throw like soft things, and I know you can still break things with soft things, but at least it's not a hard toy he's chucking across the room.
Yeah.
So like pillows, like we'll do like pillow fights where we'll smack each other with the pillows, or stuffed animals, or he has some softer balls that he can throw around the house. But sometimes I feel bad because I'm telling him he can throw these, and then when he throws a plastic toy, I'm like, you can't throw that. You can only throw the soft toys. And in his mind, he's probably like, dude,
what's the difference?
What can I do? Can I throw or can I not?
Yeah.
Because for them, it's just simple, cut and dry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we try to have a no throwing rule, just period. Though I will say, Damon he's a problem. So our little ball pit balls, he will throw them, like overhand throw them, and I'll be like, no throwing. And so he'll grab it and he'll just launch it by pinching it. You know what I'm talking
Yes.
about? And then it like, the pressure, and then it pops. Yeah. And so I'll be like, no throwing. And then he'll go over and over again.
How do I
and I'm
say
like,
no popping the ball?
And I'm like, I mean, I guess technically you're not throwing it, because it'll be like as soon as I'm like, Damon, no throwing. I'll
Yeah.
Next ball.
I mean, I think it would be harder to knock something down doing that.
It's intense still. It is just as hard as if he threw it, sometimes more.
No, okay.
Because when he throws it, it's more towards the ground, whereas doing
true.
this, he can more aim.
Right.
So yeah.
Ugh.
And I'm just like, he technically listened, so he can't really get in trouble for that. And the first time he did it, I was like, okay.
See, and sometimes you have pictures hanging in your hallway though, don't you?
Yes.
So we don't have any pictures in our hallway. And so sometimes I'll tell Maverick, if you want to throw something, go into the hallway and you can just throw it in the hallway. Not like, I still don't let him do hard toys, but if it's like a harder ball or something.
Yeah.
And then I don't care as much because we don't have anything there that he can break as long as his sister's not in the way. But then again, I feel like I'm also confusing him a little bit because I'm like, well, you can do it here, but you can't do it here. Because the only problem I have with throwing is I don't want him to hit his sister. I don't want to get hit. And I don't want him to break anything.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah. I completely agree, because then you're like, okay, well, because they're not old enough to understand the differences in the circumstances. They just hear, you can throw, you can't throw, you can throw, you can't throw.
Right.
Because they're not
like,
understanding.
What can I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's confusing. And I mean, that's why we ended up going with the no throwing in the house, just period rule, because it's just easier to, at least for us. And I know that obviously you and I are going to differ in some places.
Right.
For us, it's just easier because I don't want to have to deal with well, he doesn't understand why not here, why here. Because with Anna, she is very articulate with her words and her thoughts. So she will ask me, well, how come I can do it here and not here?
Right.
With certain things. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck off.
Don't ask me questions right now.
Well, because like sometimes I have no answer. Because sometimes she'll be right. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. That doesn't make any sense. So, okay. Because there was one day where like we were trying to pick up the balls that Damon had thrown out of the ball pit. And I threw some in there. She's like, well, how come you can throw in the house?
That's something that Michael and I are working on, because like I'll ask him to get me, you know, a body armor out of the fridge,
And he'll toss it to you.
And he'll toss it to me, and Maverick he'll see it. He won't say anything, but he'll just see it and be like, "Whoa, Mom." And then I'm like, okay. I realize we just did what we've told him not to do.
Yep. Thomas and I are very much guilty of that often. And I mean, Damon thinks it's cool. He'll be like, oh, wow, that was cool, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
And he's 3, so think about it in like his little 3-year-old voice. But then he'll go and try to do something. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
He almost broke my willow tree.
Right? It's so hard. Because also when we pick up toys, like we'll throw them into the bucket. If I'm across the room, I'll toss them into him. Yeah.
Then you feel like an asshole.
Yep.
Same.
Man, getting outside does make it a lot easier.
It does.
I know we're talking about indoor stuff, but I do try, like you were saying, I try to get outside at least once a day doing something. I'm very thankful that we have a fenced yard, and now we have a front fenced yard. We probably won't ever let him, until he's a lot older, go into the front yard by himself. But the backyard, we've been letting him go into the backyard by himself, and then I just put we have a camera in our backyard, so I just put it up on the TV. So while I'm doing stuff in the house, I can see what he's doing back there. And he loves it. He has the independence back there, everything. He's not gonna, I mean, he could get hurt because there's cement and stuff, but there's nothing that he can get into that would be dangerous.
Ugh, I wish we had that. We don't.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so nice. I was always like, well, I'm never gonna let him be out there by himself. But now we've kind of let him do it, and he feels like such a big boy out there.
Aww.
He waters his tomato plants.
That's cute.
He just plays with his toys. He has his bike. He has his trampoline. He has his little water table. And it's a good little like outlet for him.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Ugh. Jealous.
I know. I know. I was trying to think, because you have a camera in your back. I was trying
But
to
we
think,
can only see so far,
Right,
and
right,
it's
right.
completely open.
Right. I was trying to think if there was any way that you could, just while they were out there, if there was like any kind of gate that you could put, so they just had to stay on like I know it's still not far, but just on the patio.
I'm not sure. I don't know of any gates that would go that far.
Oh, okay. I was trying to picture it. I couldn't picture it in my head how the distance.
It's pretty far across. Okay. Like I could lay down and still not be touching either side. Thomas could lay down and still not be touching either side. Because it's like 8-foot area. Maybe a little bit less.
Yeah.
Maybe more like 7, but still.
Yeah. Probably the gate to block that off would be more than it's worth.
Probably. Especially because we don't plan on living there much longer if we can help it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one thing I'm really grateful for. I used to hate how small our backyard is, and now I'm kind of like, don't really care.
If it was much bigger, you'd have a harder time being able to watch him. So it's nice that you can see pretty much all of it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's nice.
Sounds nice.
But finding things to do indoors is not always nice.
It's not, especially when like when you have multiple kids, and you'll know this as Quincy gets older, one kid wants to do one thing and then the other kids don't, or, you know, there's one outlier, so on and so forth. Because, you know, even though Ellie is still really young, she is starting to express desire to do certain things over others, and she gets very pissed off when the kids either won't include her, and so they're excluding her, or they, like, she tries to go and do something and then they intrude on what she's trying to do, and blah, 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 blah.
I've noticed that with Quincy and Maverick. Quincy will be just keeping to herself doing the toys, and Maverick will come up and either take one or move, and she will literally just scream at him.
Ellie does the same thing.
So loud. And I'm like, okay, Maverick, do you hear that she's screaming at you? She doesn't like that.
Yeah.
You need to give XYZ back. She was playing with it. As soon as she's done, you can have it, or whatever, you know, whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that it would start this young, because it was just Maverick. He didn't have other little kids except occasionally your kids or my friends' kids around him. So it wasn't a constant thing, you know?
It's so different.
It's weird.
It's very weird. And I mean, obviously, I've been exposed to it a little bit longer than you have.
Right.
And so you at least get a little bit of a taste.
Yeah.
From just what I tell you. Like, oh, yeah, chaos.
Right.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
What happens with more than one kid? Chaos.
Absolute chaos.
Absolute. The look on your face. It is absolute chaos. And then when they're cooped inside, because you can't go outside, or maybe you're unwilling for whatever reason, maybe you don't feel good.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like whatever, when I get migraines, don't even ask if I want to go outside. The answer is no.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
absolutely not.
I want darkness.
I want dark. I want to close my eyes, just turn a movie on, and just lay on the couch with you guys and silence.
Yeah. Man, and these kids lately
have been chaos.
Little gremlins.
Literally.
Like, what is going on? Maverick is in a very defiant, like, no, I'm not going to do that. No,
so
mommy.
Both my older kids right now.
Or if we tell him shh at all, like, we just need to be quiet, like, shh. He'll be like, no, shh, no, shh. I'm like, oh my God, who are you?
Ugh.
Like, I've had people warn me, like, you think the terrible twos are bad, the terrible threes, or the whatever they call them. I
know what you're talking about. It's a three-nager.
Something like
they call
that.
It or something. I know it has a different term, but that's what I know it as. It's a three-nager.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. But then he's like such a sweet angel in other ways. Like he's learning so much, and he's like, I'm loving this age. I really am. But the defiant part of it, I'm really like having to check myself a lot more. And I'm just like, holy moly, what's happening?
Yeah. Or you'll tell them to do something or to stop doing something, specifically with the stop doing something. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of skirt around that a bit. Like I said, with Damon and his thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it just keeps going. It gets worse and worse. I didn't notice this as much with Anna, but with Damon, maybe it's just boys. I swear.
It's either, yeah.
Anna's really defiant now at 5.5.
Right.
But she wasn't this much at like 3. Anna was my so easy baby. She was a perfect first child.
Yeah.
I got all the good with her. She napped fantastic. She slept through the night. Mm-hmm. We had like a little bit of issues with like starting food and stuff, and she had some allergies and stuff we had to work through. But she was not defiant. She listened. She was the most polite child on the planet. Yeah. She learned her manners at like 2 years old and would say like, please, thank you, hello, goodbye, like the sweetest child. And then Damon comes in and goes, what did you got?
Literally. I feel like Maverick's a good mix between that. Like, he's very polite, and he's typically a very, very good little boy. Mm-hmm. But these defiant things have been popping up, and I'm just like, what is going on? And it's most of the time when he's very tired.
Fair.
And he doesn't really nap anymore. But if we go somewhere in the car, he'll nap like 15 minutes, whatever it's going to take us in the car. And I find that those little naps really help him, as long as they're early enough in the day.
Yes, if they're late, then you're screwed.
And then I'm screwed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But so sometimes when they're chaotic, I guess this kind of works for being inside. If you're able to, if the roads are clear, just going for a quick little drive.
Mm-hmm. And I know that's not feasible with gas prices for everybody.
A quick drive.
So we're not being like, oh yeah, Go spend 3 hours on the road.
Yeah, no.
$100 later in gas.
Like 20 minutes. Just drive around for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Or Maverick's biggest thing right now is smoothies. So we've been making a lot of smoothies.
Oh, nice.
So if we have a little bit of extra money, we'll be like, let's go buy a smoothie. And he loves that. So we'll go on like this little smoothie run, and he'll take like a little quick, like 5-minute nap while we go get a smoothie.
Nice.
And it helps so much.
Nice. Damon won't fall asleep in those kinds of cases. He'll fall asleep if it's a longer drive.
Mm-hmm.
But he usually takes about 15 minutes to be like, okay, this is a longer drive. Good night.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so like when we went up to Portland recently, he slept there and back.
Nice.
It was so nice.
That is so nice.
It was nice.
I know sometimes Michael and I, that'll be our only quiet time together is when we're driving and the kids are asleep.
Yeah, but then Anna, she'll be in the back and she'll be like, so what are we doing today? Everybody else is asleep.
Go to
Shut
sleep.
up.
It was funny. We actually went to Costco, I think last weekend or something. And I had hooked the car up to my Bluetooth, but then I forgot to put music on. So the music wasn't on. The kids were talking in the back, whatever. And then all of a sudden it was just dead silent. And Michael and I didn't say anything to each other. It was literally dead silent. All you could hear was the road. And 5 minutes goes past and he's like, I think this is the most quiet we have ever had in the last 3 years. And I was like, I think you're right. He's like, I was about to turn the music on, but do you just want to ride like this?
Yes.
And I'm like, sure. It was nice. You don't get a lot of quiet.
Yeah, no. My quiet is like first thing in the morning and then after I've put everybody to bed. But then you're exhausted and you're like, I don't want to be awake anymore.
Yeah, literally. Literally. But yeah. There's things you can do in the house, but I feel like being at least a stay-at-home mom, they just run out. It's like you get bored of it, they get bored of it. It's the same thing day in, day out. You try to be more creative, but then, you know, that only goes so far. Doing it every single day over and over and over for hours and hours.
Just difficult. It really is.
But yeah, if you guys have any tips, send them our way.
What's your favorite thing to do inside with your kids when you can't or don't want to go outside?
Yeah.
Let us know because we need some options.
I'm always open to options.
Same.
Always open to options.
Always. Sorry we weren't able to give you a ton of options.
But that's kind of how we roll.
Literally. Yeah.
We're figuring it out as we go. So,
Which I think there needs to be a lot more moms out there admitting that they're still trying to figure it out versus being like, I've got
it all figured out, because I don't know who does. Really,
I don't know
honestly.
either.
They may say they do, but I don't know if they do.
I don't think so.
So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, send this to a friend, send us your tips, and we will see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Bye.